Hi, friends. Today we need to understand a special bond between the farmer and his livestock, that is, for example, a cow. As the government extends to celebrate February 14th as Cow Hug Day, but we have forgotten the farmer who shares a special bond with his livestock. As today we see hundreds of unproductive cows, on the streets we forget to understand the plight of the poor debt-ridden farmer, who dreams of a fruitful season of crops every year, and fails every time due to the harsh climate conditions, and timely seeding of the crop. Farmers are life givers, and bring life from the soil. They can never be replaced for their work with any profession. Farmers grow life. A special hug for the farmers straight from the heart, and this episode dedicated to all farmers. Please like, share and subscribe our channel if you understand the video to its liking. Thank you. The Animal Welfare Board of India, AWBI, a statutory advisory body on animal welfare laws, has issued an appeal to the nation's cow lovers to observe February 14th as Cow Hug Day, in recognition of the fact that the Vedic traditions are on the verge of extinction due to the development of Western culture over time. Hugging a cow will create emotional depth, which will boost our individual and social happiness because of the enormous benefits of the cow. In light of the significance of mother cows and their role in making life joyful and full of positive energy, all cow lovers may thus observe February 14th as Cow Hug Day, according to the board's general appeal, published on Monday, February 6, 2023. The board made these remarks. Twitter has been cracked with cow hug memes in response to the notification from the government. Hinduism, which is practiced by approximately 80% of India's 1.3 billion inhabitants, holds cows in high regard as sacred animals. During festivals, the animal is adored and ornamented. Holy men walk around with cows that have vermilion smeared across their foreheads asking for alms. More seriously, since beef is less expensive than chicken and fish and is a staple food for the impoverished Muslim, tribal, and Dalit, formerly untouchable, people, the majority of states outlaw cow slaughter who freely roam the congested streets. This ban has drawn criticism from many. It should come as no surprise that the cow is India's most divisive and political animal. There are unsettling rumors that BJP followers and the right-wing Hindu nationalist Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh have started a ferocious campaign against beef and cow slaughter in the state. Cow protection vigilante organizations have proliferated. They assert that they have a wide network of insiders and that the Delhi government led by the Hindu nationalist BJP has given them a sense of empowerment. Roads are littered with violent, cow vigilantes, who frequently collaborate with the authorities to reportedly extort money from cattle dealers. Angering crowds have lynched several cattle merchants. Over 50 fatalities have been reported as a result of lynching or mob violence after suspected cow slaughter or trading between 2016 and the end of 2020. However, a number of states have lately amended these rules, including Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Haryana, Sikkim, and Madhya Pradesh. These modifications increase the severity of the penalties for cow slaughter and, in some situations, make it illegal to transport, possess, or sell cattle or meat. The Hindu reverence of the cow may have originated with Mahatma Gandhi, who is considered to be India's greatest leader. He once referred to the concept of penance and self-sacrifice for the sacrificed innocents. It signified when he declared that the central reality of Hinduism is cow protection. In a cruel irony, hardline Hindus now appear to have taken over the cow and everything it represents. Ottaram Devasi, the first cow minister in the previous BJP administration in Rajasthan, waged campaigns and continued to demand that the cow replace the tiger as the nation's animal. In response, a minister in Haryana, which is also governed by the BJP, immediately launched an online vote. Despite this, India is still the world's top exporter of beef, 80% of which is buffalo meat. Livestock is an essential component of the agro-silvopastoral farming system used by Indian farmers. Demonetizing their assets would mean taking the meat away. Their income would be destroyed. Industrialized meat production harms the environment by destroying large tracts of forest, giving animals cereal, antibiotics, and other unnecessary waste. However, small-scale cow-buffalo-goat economies are still used by Indian farmers. Because it is controlled by small farm owners, the economy has really been able to survive. Animals are their backup plan, which primarily provided them milk and coping mechanism for difficult situations, which are made worse nowadays due to climate change-related variables and extreme weather. We must figure out how to support an economy where small-scale operations benefit lone farmers. This was the Anand experiment, made famous by Verghese Kurian, a renowned figure in India's White Revolution, resulted in the formation of Amul Milk Cooperative. India's heavy population and employment-starved nation is best served by this cooperative producer model. However, it was successful because of the existing cow-buffalo economy, which covered the costs of raising and caring for cattle for milk before selling them for meat. Farmers lacked the resources to keep inefficient cows. The vociferous and even violent cry for cow protection has resulted in the complete collapse of this weak economy in recent years. There are currently no cattle. They've developed into a threat, robbing fields and damaging crops. Because farmers who own them can't afford to feed them, are increasingly releasing unproductive cows, leaving marauding herds that destroy crops. Even cows have charged at people. The 1,800 registered cow shelters in India are crowded with cattle, and volunteers frequently struggle to feed and maintain their health. In a 7-month period, 8,000 animals passed away at one huge shelter. By tracking cows with identity numbers on ear tags and levying special cow taxes on booze consumers, state governments are attempting to regulate the issue. According to economists, the current crisis is endangering the already vulnerable farmers in the nation and upsetting the vital cycle of India's livestock industry. Since India is mostly an agricultural nation, cattle serve as the foundation of the industry. Bovine farm animals that have been domesticated and raised for their milk, meat, hide, transportation, power, and entertainment. Cows, bulls, oxen, and calves are all considered cattle. Additionally, the owners of these cows and buffaloes neglect to give them enough food and shelter. As a result, they are seen wandering the streets in quest of sustenance. Watching cattle eat from roadside trash is a typical sight in India. It's important to remember that owners often discard cattle that are no longer useful. These animals are referred to as stray cattle since they wander the streets looking for food or are often seen sitting in the middle of the road. Because they lack a home or shelter. Only as long as the cattle are useful to their owners are they maintained in a shelter. The mistreatment or abandonment of the cows and bulls who are revered as deities is improper. Cattle are a valuable resource that support the agricultural system and so help to ensure food security. According to the 20th Livestock Census, which was published in January 2020 by the Union Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, and Dairy, there are more than 5 million stray cattle in India. Despite appointing committees by the government of Madhya Pradesh to take into consideration the issue of stray cattle and proposal of stringent punishment for abandoning cattle, it's often found to be insurmountable to recognize the owners of the deserted cattle. Moreover, farmers can barely feed themselves, let alone their animals, assailed by drought, famine, and flood-like calamities. In such cases, they are left with no other option but to abandon their uneconomic cattle. The government needs to look beyond just keeping stray cattle in gaushalas and should investigate additional measures to prevent stray livestock from suffering in order to address the problem of stray cattle. In order to preserve stray animals from suffering and to shield the general public from the threat posed by these stray cattle, the government needs to look beyond that and examine other possibilities. The prologue to Maneka Gandhi's Gaushala Handbook states, "A gaushala may have a mandir, temple, in it venerating the cow, but it rarely includes a sick bay in which the animal is treated." How cows are treated in the gaushalas is further described in the foreword to the guidebook for the gaushalas. The gaushalas deteriorate into semi-dairies after a while, it continues. The gaushala group begins separating the milking cows from the elderly and ill ones. These are given better food, made to reproduce, and the milk is gathered and given to these humans. The calves are frequently sold to butchers clandestinely. Cattle provide more than just companionship. Rising fuel costs have no impact on their ability to perform well in the fields. Their manure enhances the soil and lessens the need for urea and chemical fertilizers, and their milk both nourishes families and generates extra income. Will the animals return to the vacant cow pens, thereby boosting the rural economy? The government had to think about using other strategies to deal with stray livestock. Thanks for watching and giving your valuable time. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to keep our motivation going. Cheers.